Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. I'm super excited today for like so many reasons. There's some great finds we just picked up down in Georgia not too long ago, and I can't wait to get them listed. We had an unbelievable sale that makes me so excited. Matter of fact, I probably should grab it now, but I'll come back in a minute because I'm already walking towards the other cabin. But I did screw something up. Now we're going to talk about that today as well. And I did screw something up and I have an apology to make, and we'll do that and check out this sale. This is the best sale for me of the year so far, and when it came across at full price, I was like, wow, this is why I pick. So let's go in this cabin right here and we'll take a look. All right, we are going to weave these in through the picking, and the picking is a lot of people watch these videos just for the picking, and I throw these topics in and try to entertain and inform and do all those things, and you guys reply in the comments. It's awesome. I love it. But we're going to pick and weave these things in, but I just realized I made a second mistake, and by saying I mean that my wife made a mistake, but I have to always do that quietly, so I'll save it for the end of the video. Well, I guess I shouldn't have even put it out there right there. Anyway, we'll get to it. Sold something under value, but still made some money, so. Master lock, trailer lock. I love $5 into $30 flips. I don't know. There's just something about a $5 into a $30 flip, because in my mind, that's very easy to calculate. It's a $20 profit almost all the time, or a little bit more than that. And that's what this was. It was a one more time into the breach kind of garage sale. You just keep going back, you know, fill up the car, whatever. And this one was the last thing I picked up at this sale. It's a master trailer lock number 34, and it had never been used, even though the box was old and damaged. It sold for $30 plus shipping. People always ask me at garage sales, why do you find something, get a price for it, and then buy it, and then keep going, and isn't it better to bundle? And yeah, bundling is better, but you first before you bundle, I'll tell you what, I'll tell this in a minute. Let me just show you this. I pulled all of the bunny stuff, Easter stuff that had been listed for over a year. I pulled it all down, or almost all of it. I thought I did anyways, and put it on a Dibbed It Easter show, because it didn't sell last Easter. It hasn't sold already this Easter. I'm just going to sell it. And I missed one, and I'm glad I did, because it sold here on eBay. It didn't sell for much, 30% off, $9.80 plus shipping. But I'd have got a couple of bucks for that, maybe, on that Dibbed It show. So I'm happy about that sale right there, $9.80 plus shipping. So I do bundle. I love to bundle, but I do this piecemeal part first for a reason, and maybe it's not the right decision. I don't know. But I will do that, and I'll get the confidence of the buyer, and they know I want to buy. They know I'll pay, maybe even pay up a little bit for the first part. I did it with this master lock, actually, at that sale. I made a couple of purchases and realized, this guy's going to be willing to work. And then I started to bundle. And that to me is a pretty good strategy. I know other people do it different ways. The reason I do it is because I have gone to sales where people have told me, oh, we're selling everything cheap and doing all that. And then I've made just giant stacks. Take me half an hour, 45 minutes. And then the prices are way higher than I expected. So that's kind of why I do it that way. I think you gotta really kind of feel a yard sale out before you start doing that, but maybe I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments. I'll start with one of my mistakes here while I'm picking up the next item. This happens every once in a blue moon, where we'll put things into drafts, and somehow when you're doing it, if you use drafts and stuff when you list on your phone, you'll know this happens from time to time. You'll put something into a draft and you don't realize you've done it. Maybe it doesn't have a picture or something. And then you put something else into a draft, or you put it into the drafts twice. I listed the same item twice, and it's sold twice, but I only had one. And so that is an issue, especially when like I said, me and my wife are both listing. And every once in a while, Jess is on there making drafts for us as well. And sometimes I make it. It just gets confusing. And it doesn't happen but once or twice a year, but it happened to me. Skybox cards, EXL. How many do I have left? I don't even know. That box is, one pack left. I gotta make sure a lot of times I won't list the entire quantity. I'll leave one out. I don't know, just as a security. So I might have to relist that. Or maybe I have it listed. I think I have these listed on Dibbed It too. So I gotta check that out. At any rate, These have all sold at this point except for that one. These sold for 2 packs for $53.90 plus shipping. That is a really good. So I paid $100 for that whole box. So I don't even know how many were in that box, to be honest with you. I'm kind of curious now. I'm not even sure it says in here. 36 packs, y'all. So 2 just sold for 54. I paid $100 for that box. So that ended up being a very, very good box. I did sell some on Dibdit cards that sold for a lot less than that, but still we did really, really well. And this one I noticed is a viewer. Oh, it's our buddy. Oh, and I don't have your hat on today, Matt. I'm sorry. That's my favorite reseller hat. I love the ABC Matt hat. So thank you so much for sending it to me. He's got a YouTube channel. Y'all go check him out. Thank you, Kevin. I consider you a mentor, a role model, and more importantly, a friend. You are one of the few resellers that care about other resellers, even someone small potatoes like myself. I can't thank you enough. Well, Matt, that makes me very appreciative that you said that, and I thank you very much, and I do consider you a friend. Whew. You know what? I'm going to save, I was going to say something. I'm going to save it for the end of the video, Matt, and maybe you can scroll ahead. And I don't know. I don't often say stuff like this, but I don't want to make this video about this. I want to make it about my 2 screwed up mistakes and my really awesome sale. So I'll put that at the end. If you hear a bunch of noise out here, there's the culprit. I guess I really never finished the story on the first screw up. So I sent a message to that person. I'm like, listen, this is what I did. I think we just accidentally double listed this dang thing. And, you know, by the way, sometimes people say, you know, eBay removes items, eBay double lists stuff or whatever. So sometimes it's user error. And I have no doubt that that's what it was with this. And so I sent him a message. Let's just face it, I don't want to cancel an order. You can't do that too much. And so I was like, listen, you know, obviously I will cancel this and give you a full refund. But if there's anything else in my store, it can be of much greater value. I'd rather do something like that. I have a lot of wrestling stuff, for instance, and I just gave him options. And we'll see. And if it doesn't work out, I'll have to cancel that thing, and that's perfectly fine too. There's other options. I know people will go on and drop ship from other places and whatever. I just wanted to open up a line of communication before I did anything. So I've messed that one up. I've got plenty of space if I have to cancel an order without getting knocked down too far. But I try my best to avoid that if at all possible, even when I do make mistakes, but I try to be open about it. I decided I was gonna... I know, I hear you. I decided I was, okay, here's your treat. I decided I was going to actually bring up the other mistake earlier in the video rather than later. And you just can't tell my wife I talked about it. So, and then Pepper came in while I was headed out to the other shed. So Pepper, you're going to have to leave. We're going to go pick something up in the other shed. I love Pepper. Love her dearly, but she's not one to be left in that shed by herself. She gets into boxes. She gets up top in the thing. She stays in there. She jumps onto stuff. Not good. So this one, I'm coming out to this shed because this one sold so quickly, and there's a reason behind it. It didn't even get into the other shed yet. And this is an awesome t-shirt. I bought it over on Dibdit. I'll wait to get back in the other shed. It's so windy out here to tell this story. Now, I love to list vintage t-shirts. My wife usually leaves them for me, but there are certain circumstances that led to this sale. All right, so first things first, I believe I bought this from my buddy Keith, Vintage Sport Flips, over on Dibdit Threads. Check that out. Wild Oats, made in the USA, XL. Single, nope, double stitch. It's a double stitch shirt right there. Beavis and Butthead in very good condition. There's Keith's channel, by the way, Vintage Sport Flips. He sells on Dibdit. He sells on Dibdit Threads. He sells on Dibdit Cards. Amazing finds. This guy has incredible stuff. Go check his channel out. Keith is an awesome dude. And like I said, I believe I bought it from you, Keith. I think. I buy it from different folks over there in Source and stuff. And I paid for this. It wasn't dirt cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but I paid where I knew I was going to make money on this thing. And I don't remember the price. But in my mind, I'm looking at this shirt and I'm looking at the condition and I'm just like, holy moly, there's no crackling in it. This thing is nice. It is a touch. It's not a modern version of the shirt. It is definitely older. Got the sweet tag on it, and you'll see the XL in that thing. It's got this touch tone interactive down here. It lights up, and at any rate, I bought that thinking in my mind that's got to be $100 shirt. And if you look up the comps for this one, And I did not. I never looked up the comps for this because I never even saw it in there. My wife listed it. 1997 MTV Networks, Touchtone. And because I was away and I was traveling, I don't oftentimes have time to put in a ton of listings. And so, you know, my wife will go in and list a lot more if I'm gone, for instance. And so I think that's what happened with this one. And she picked a comp or whatever and listed it for $59.95, and it sold quickly. And I haven't even mentioned this to her because there's no sense in it anyways. She's doing what she does, and what she does is amazing for my family, for me, and whatever. But I'm looking at the comps, and I'm like, ooh, I can see where she came up with that price. But for me, condition, this is an XL, y'all. This is a size XL, which is a very high, I mean, that's the best size you can get a lot of times when you're talking about 90s shirts. And all of it combined, working little touch tone thing and all that stuff. To me, I think the floor on this was $79.95, and it was probably much better than that. So that's kind of where I'm at. It sold very quickly at that price, which is good because I'm still making money on it, and I'm very happy with it. So at any rate, I guess that's a screw up, but in some ways it's not a screw up. You get inventory and you get it out, you're making a profit, all things are good. Some folks will say in the comments that I'm to blame, and they're probably right, because when we do have discussions about listing and stuff, I'm usually telling her she's putting too high a prices on stuff. I don't want stuff to sit around for 2 years. And so I've told her that, and of course, I cannot complain if she listed a little undervalue. And so I'm going to take the heat on that one regardless. And if you've been married for a while, you know you better take the heat. And that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm headed back out to the other shed again, and... oh, hi, and Pepper's back. And this one, I could have picked it up when I picked up the shirt, but I don't want to break this one. So I'm going to pick it up all on its own. This was a very fortunate pickup. And I'm so glad that I did. And it's not something I'd normally look at, but I'm getting better at this kind of stuff. I got to find a ladder. Oh, good, there's one right here. Bought this at a sale in Bedford, Virginia. There was one sale that day. That's all there was. And I went to it, and I'm like, okay, cool. It was this one. See those two little pottery pieces right there? And then a couple of more pieces that I don't see. I think we sold one of them. But this one is amazing. I came over here to find that piece, this piece right here, and then those two pieces I showed you up there. I believe we bought them all from the same sale. And I think I paid $20 total. And like I said, I know nothing about this kind of stuff. But, you know, watching different creators and stuff, and my buddy Tim over the years, and I went on RIN, Reseller Information Network, and started asking questions. People in the chat were helping me, because I couldn't even make it out. And Tim over the years was helping me as well. And come to find out, I did pretty darn good. There were 3 pieces signed by this person. Let me show it to you, and also read the listing. I'll read the listing really quick. Stig Lindberg. Lindberg, signed vase, Gustavsberg Studios, Sweden. It's, you know, Swedish blue, I guess, pottery. So this is like a 1 of 1. And you can see the signature down there. And I started to really figure it out, and I just didn't know what to price it at. But this is a really nice piece. So I put it out there for $700. Like, what's the worst that could happen, right? And I listed it in 2 places. I listed it on eBay. I listed on knickknacks.net as well. That's Jocelyn's marketplace over there. And I got a ton of interest on both places. I was answering questions, sending out offers, doing whatever. And it sold for full price, y'all. It sold on eBay, sold for $700 plus shipping. Pepper senses that the dogs are not around, so she's not going to leave me alone. I'm just going to let you in. I'd like it if you come up and sit up here. There you go. Stay there. I'll get you your treats. And I was talking to some other folks about it, some sellers on Dibdit, some sellers over there on Knickknacks and stuff, and it kind of blows my mind. I've started to get a little bit better at glass and pottery and stuff like that, but I still know nothing, and I probably will know nothing for a long time. But that kind of sale inspires me to keep at it a little bit. I want to be dangerous in every category and not necessarily memorize everything, because my mind just doesn't work like that. I have so many history dates swimming in my head from all these years and taught thousands of students and baseball players. I can't remember all that stuff. But if I see a cool piece with a signature on it for a decent price, I'm going to gamble, because that gamble paid off. By the way, it's headed to Portland, Oregon. Sometimes that means it's going to eventually end up somewhere else. But in this case, looking at the name, I don't think that's the case. There are some I don't know, freight forwarders, I guess. I don't know what you want to call them, that are on the coasts, on each coast. Southern California, you have them up in Oregon, you have different. But I think this is actually going to the destination it's going to stay in. I know people ask me, am I going to insure it? I almost never insure anything unless it's over $500. So maybe. We shall see. I probably won't. I don't know. I hate insurance. I figured they're making money off of this stuff, so I can insure myself, I guess. Would you insure it? I think most people would. I probably should. It would be fairly prudent. But that sale, I mean, we had some good sales. You've barely seen anything yet. We've got to go through the rest, and I'm going to hustle through them. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, this is part of what is almost a $1,300 day in sales, which is really cool. So I'm super stoked right now and really happy about that one. My wife is really happy because she hit a deer the other day and we got to pay for that car repair. Well, I have to pay for the deductible. So that made her, you know, she was feeling really bad. It's like, oh, that's all we need is that. And I was like, well, we just paid for it. Cool. All right, this one went out to Miriam, says repeat buyer on there. No message. By the way, there's a lot of people who've been sending me messages in the messaging system as opposed to if they purchase something, putting it on there. And I don't read those. I'm sorry. It just gets so confusing. But thank you to Miriam for this one. And I think maybe another one. I have to check. This one should be, it's been here for a while. One of the things I like to do, because a lot of people will run away from an expensive yard sale really quick. Well, I don't have enough around here to be running away from anything. And there was one sale where everything was at eBay or over eBay. And I'm like, daggone, this stuff is cool. But it was too much money. And so I like to find something I can make money on. And I paid $5 for this right here. I think this is what it is. Yeah, this is it. Check this thing out right here. And there was nothing out there listed like this. I think these were out there, but not with the paperwork and stuff. Humble Oil Refining Company. This became Esso or Exxon. So this is early on. And they would send you these little things. And this had the paperwork with it. Tall jar spoon. I'm like, that thing's cool. It's got the knife on this side and whatever. And I'm like, somebody might want that. And it took a while, but somebody did. I paid $5 for it. And it sold for $16.95 plus shipping. Going back to the other shed one more time. I think this might be it. Shout out for an upcoming Dibdid show, upcoming thread show. No, yeah, another upcoming Dibdid show, an upcoming polish and brush show. These are the eBay items we haven't even got out there yet. And these two right here, check this out, just in time. This is filmed out a couple days in advance, of course, for Easter. And these little egg cups, you know, egg holders, I guess. You put your little decorated egg in there. These sold for $16.95 plus shipping. And the next one is cool. I love picking up stuff like this because sometimes you get it home and it's like crazy good money. And I pulled these two out earlier. They weren't on top, just for transparency's sake. But sometimes you gotta film quick and it's like, okay, you pull this stuff out a little early. This stuff sometimes can go for crazy money. Look at this little, I don't want you to get the glare, beacon. Look at the, I mean, how cool is that tiger on there? Really cool. And sometimes you get it home, you know, if you pay a couple of bucks or something, and it's like, dang, that sold for $50. Well, this one didn't seem to be worth as much as I thought, but it's still really cool. It sold for $15.95 plus shipping, so not amazing. But if you pay a buck or two for something like that, sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't, and you still make money, which is what we did here. $15.95 plus shipping. I promise I'm going to get to the comments that I said that I would make at the end of the video with Matt, ABC Matt. We'll get to those, but I got to pick a bunch of stuff pretty rapidly here. There's a Citgo hat, and it has a little pin on it. You know, you pick up these dollar hats sometimes, and some of them are pretty good. Look at that little thin strap snapback on the back. This one's been around a while. And it sold on clearance, I believe, for $12.60 plus shipping. So $1 into $12.60 plus shipping. And the third viewer sale of the day. So thank you to all of you. This one went to Jody. I think there's a message. J.R.R. Tolkien, The Return of the King books. So this is Return of the King and The Two Towers. Absolutely love Tolkien. I love all of that stuff. I remember from my childhood, those VHS of The Hobbit and stuff would just scared me when I was a tiny little kid. And that didn't sell for a ton, but $10 and change, I think, plus shipping. Let me read the message. Since Jody is such a wonderful supporter of us, we appreciate you. Hello, Kevin. Always enjoy your channel. I was curious about how you acquired all of your license plates from all over. They are so cool. All right. I bought a few at the very beginning of doing videos inside that cabin in there. I was looking for little decorations and stuff. And then all of a sudden people started sending me them. And so I would say that 95 to 98% of these, other than just a couple, like this one I bought and this one I bought, I'm trying to find any other ones that I might have bought. This one, John Cincinnati Picker sent me a message, said, hey, that'd look good in your cabin. I was like, yeah, I'll buy it from you. And the rest of them, I think absolutely every single other one of these was sent to me, except for this one right here. That one I had, and this one right here. So 5 of these were purchases. The rest were sent to me. And there's even more over here. Actually, this was my uncle's right here, LA Angels, and they moved to Carolina. And so all of these were sent to me, which is incredible. And so we decided, we did a little homeschool lesson with my daughter, and we went through, and she would check off the plates on a map, and it was kind of an early geography lesson when she was little. And then people started sending me stuff from other countries. And let's see, here and here, and here and here and here, and all of them up there. So just incredibly nice. And I need to probably put them on every single bin, but every single state is represented in here, which is really cool. And they were all gifts. So hopefully that answers your question. That was even a gift. And look at these. People started sending me small ones to put on here. I got to get that Florida one back up here. Even some of the bigger ones, like this one up here. Cat the Nurse Flipper sent me that one. And somebody sent me that one as well, and I don't remember who. Maybe you can tell me in the comments. So just the generosity towards my family has been amazing. Don't overlook underwear. I bought these underwear right here for $1 at a garage sale, new in the package, and they sold quickly for $19.95 plus shipping. So I haven't sold one of these in a while, on here anyways. WCW NWO decal along with a nitro. I think this is the nitro skull cap. They went out for $15.37, I believe is what they sold for. I did not get my lost and found sale that I usually get every single year from that golf course. The guy who used to hook me up with that, I called him up this year because I didn't get a phone call, and I'm like, what's the deal? Are you mad at me? He's like, no, the golf course is partnered with some charity thing, and that's what we're doing with it this year. I'm like, doggone it, but at least it's going to charity. So normally this time of year, I'm pulling stuff out of that bin constantly, but this year, unfortunately, we're not going to. And Callaway Golf Big Bertha Warbird set, and they're not perfect, and the discoloration, there's a hole in that one, and it's still sold for 20 bucks plus shipping. Annalee dolls can sometimes be hit and miss. Holy moly, how did you get in here so fast? I just saw you outside. And this one is one of them. Uh-oh, we're losing a leaf here. Or it's, oh, that's supposed to be there. And these two Santas, I think, and one's not Mrs. Claus. Nope. Sold. They'll come together a little bit. They're not quite this long, so it's not as hard to ship as it might look. They did not sell at full price. They went on 30% off. They were hanging around too long. $21.80 plus shipping. Okay, we had another viewer sale. So that's 4 out of, I think, 17, y'all. So that's even over our typical 20%. So a big giant thank you. You guys are kind, lovable, huggable friends. And this one, actually, it's not bad, y'all. And you get the stuff with a new tag. Sometimes you find the right folks. And this one sold for $12.95 plus shipping. I usually avoid those kind of generic ones like that. But sometimes you buy in a big lot and it's like, yeah, I'll look it up. This one went to Tom. He says, I think some people fail to look at the bright side of living somewhere that does not have year-round garage sales. You're going to have to sell me on this one. Except for you who lives, I can't say, who lives in the middle of nowhere. Let's just say that. A lot of us live outside of major metros. So when garage sale season hits, we have 3 solid months. If I was out, 0800 to 1600 every Friday and Saturday, I would not be able to hit all the sales within an hour of me. Wow, that's not me. Which means all of the other pickers have the same problem. I get to the sales all the time at 3 p.m. that have had barely any buyers. I see. I got you. I get your point. For me, it's very different. We have we don't live up north, so the weather's, you can definitely pick for way more than 3 months a year. I would say closer to 7 to 8. And yeah, the last month on either side of that aren't great, so maybe 5 good months. And really in the middle of the summer heat, it slows down as well. So, but for me, there's no way. It's like last weekend, for instance, and I wasn't here, but I looked around and there was 2 sales, 2, and one of them was 40 minutes away, and one of them was 10 minutes away. Now I'm sure there was more than that, but doing the limited research, and so that was kind of rough. So I'm hoping that it starts to pick up. It certainly will around here very quickly, but it's usually April before it really starts to pick up. And what I mean by pick up is I might have 15 that I could hit. And the same people are, so you got to choose, because they will be picked over if you're not there early around here. Now, out in the country sometimes, I'm in the country. So if I go farther out in the country, I will find sales. I found a box of Super Nintendo games, N64 games, a whole box of them, $1 a piece at a sale a couple years back. And it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they were sitting there plain as day. And that would not happen in some of these areas we're talking about. But anyway, did I say your name? Tom. Oh, that's the Hodgepodge. Or no, TT Hodgepodge. Thank you. Next one I'll probably show you a picture of because I don't want to unroll it. I think I picked this one earlier too, so it should be sitting there. It is right there. It's a Hokies. This is a cool banner. And I picked it up for $1, and it didn't sell at 14 bucks or whatever it was. Sold on 30% off. It sold for $9.07 plus shipping. All right, I sold a Korg. What the heck are these called? Chromatic tuners. Little ones. You might remember me picking this one up. It's out in that other shed. We just listed it. It just sold. I'm not going back out there. I've been out there 4 times already. And you can see the picture right here. I bought this one in Florida at a Goodwill. It was a terrible Goodwill trip, to be perfectly honest with you. Found a couple things. But I was just trying to burn a little bit of time because Dave was hosting me at his house, and I didn't want to get back there early. They had different stuff going on. I didn't want to interfere with family stuff and whatever. So I just I'll stay out a little bit, eat some lunch, go to the Goodwill. And I almost didn't buy it. I think it was $2.99. I think that's the price. And it sells for around $15.95, which is what it sold for. And I'm like, do I want this? And I was like, sure, what the heck. It'll pay for my lunch that I'm about ready to go eat. Right around a $10 profit or so. $3, 16, so there's 13 right there, and then you subtract the fees. We're looking at about a $10 profit. So make sure, what the heck, I'll grab it. Glad I did, paid for my lunch that day, and I got to burn a little bit more time out there before I went back to Bug Dave. Our y'all, baseball season has officially started, so Turner's excited. He's got a tournament this weekend that I can't go to, but Grammy and Grandpa said they take you. Are you excited now? Mm-hmm. I have got to go to Reagan's state gymnastics meet. So, anyway, got to choose between the kids sometimes, Am I making the right choice?
Yeah, because this is states for Reagan.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, you got a joke about, you tell us your joke. Some Commonwealth comedy.
What do male cattle use to write with?
What do male cattle use to write with? I don't know what.
Bullpens.
Very good. We need to go throw a bullpen. Thank you, bud.
Bye.
Almost forgot to put a gift in here today. Here, Deb and Troy. You guys are awesome. You've always been awesome to us. They said, they know I love history. Thought I might like these. Check that out. Plus a G.I. Joe 1980. I love the when in doubt, parted out. So that's what we'll do with that. And I should have showed these to Turner in here. He knows quite a bit about World War II. Churchill and all the later stuff. We haven't got into the early stuff. In my opinion, you could really look back at World War II and look back to 1931 Manchuria with the Japanese and, I don't know. You don't care. I'm not going to get in the weeds, but, most people think of the European theater and Pearl Harbor and everything. So that'll be the next step with Turner. We might get into that, but that's complicated stuff. Devin Troy, we appreciate you very much. Hey, I almost forgot these Gore-Tex pants. I think they're Cabela's Gore-Tex sells, y'all. If you ever see that, pick it up. $25 plus shipping. If you remember ABC Matt's comments earlier in the video, I said I'd say something about it. Listen, if you've been watching this channel long enough, you know I don't really like drama too much. Yeah, I use provocative titles sometimes and thumbnails and all that stuff. But it's not this show. It's not what I like to do. And I probably never ever, well, probably, I hope I'll never ever do that kind of stuff. I rarely drop names in here unless it's in a positive light. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I'll be honest with you, I have made plenty of social media mistakes and missteps and stuff, never intentionally. Always to support the things and people that I like and that I trust. And I'm sure I'll make mistakes again in the future. And it seems like every single time that something happens that's drama or social media wise, you know, there's a lot of folks that come out in my defense, and I really do appreciate that. It's very, very kind of them. It's never necessary, ever. And ABC Matt is one of those people. And we're never going to agree with everybody all the time, and I don't expect it. And I'm going to try to continue to be kind, nice to everybody, and supportive as much as I possibly can. And we do shout-outs on here. We do all kinds of stuff. You know, there's a lot of social media folks, I'm going to sit down, that decide to kind of isolate themselves a little bit because they don't want to deal with this kind of stuff. It really isn't my personality to isolate. I don't like it. I like to be part of something bigger, and I don't blame the people who do that because it's appealing at times for sure. And so I'm going to keep doing that, and hopefully people see that I want to be supportive. I want to be helpful to people. I try my very best to do it. There are limitations to that, however, and sometimes the limitations have to do with my kids, my family, all the stuff that's going on, and I cannot support everybody and be everything for everybody on Dibdit or on social media or whatever. So it's just a blanket apology to folks. I don't know if it's an apology. Just to say, you know, sometimes I get messages, you know, I bought this from you and you didn't shout me out. And that's why I constantly say things like, hey, you know, leave the message on the purchase. I'll read it. But there's so many, y'all, I get so many messages, and it does make me feel bad. And I'm an emotional guy. I always have been, likely always will be. And you have my permission to call me out on here if I ever change and start, you know, focusing on the drama and all the stuff that goes on. And I admire so many people's hustle. Even if they don't do things the way I would do them, even if we have differences of opinion, I still admire the work that goes into what people are trying to do for themselves, for their families. And I'm just going to leave it at that. You know, I do, you know, people criticize me for hanging out with this person or that person, or I can't believe you took a picture with this person or whatever. It's just not me to do that kind of. I just try to be kind to as many people as possible. If people take that as an endorsement or not doing it as something else, then, you know, feel free. I'm going to keep trying to do what I think is the right thing to do, the best thing to do. And it won't always be right. Sometimes it'll be wrong. And support the people who support me and be kind to everybody. And that's just it. So I can't say, you know, reach out to me if you ever have a question. But, you know, if you hear something that it's like, is this, you know, just reach out to me. It's usually not the way it seems on both sides of the equation all the time. And I try to have the hard conversations when I need to have them with folks. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's the end of it. So, anyway, there's my little rant, I guess, if you want to call it that. But I really do appreciate you. I mean every word of it when I tell people thank you for the support you give us. It is not deserved. And we are very grateful for it regardless. So thank y'all for joining us as always, and I can't wait to see you next time.
Well, if I'm in Virginia just to go and run the trails, found myself missing you more times than I can count. Rolling on just like a stone, nobody could tell me where the boundaries in my life stop and I could be free. Nobody could tell me. So Fancy bars while living in cars ain't nothing too complex. Everywhere that you go's a little further to the next, but you keep on rolling, just like a breeze. Sit up and down the coast, you know that nothing stays the same. If you keep looking at the past, then you'll never change. Here tomorrow, gone the next, just letting life pass by. You keep telling yourself you're only here for the ride.